Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Now, I'm sorry I have not posted a video in a long time, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One, I didn't really have a lot of content. Two, I've been really busy both at work, life, and we've had a couple of vacations, a couple of guests visiting, and it's just taken up a lot of time, and I haven't really had a chance to post any content. But I decided to go ahead and post a video about my current daily driver. Those of you who've watched my channel are familiar with this car. It's the BMW M850i Grand Coupe. And today I'm going to post a long-term ownership review of this car. This car is a 22 model. I'm not the original owner of this car. I am the second owner, so I bought it in 22 with about 85 or so hundred miles on it. And I'll tell you, it still looks just as good as the day I bought it. I haven't done any PPF, I haven't done any ceramic coating, although I believe that the dealer did a bit of a clear coat or something like that on it before they sold it to me. But aside from any occasional dings and this and that, it's held up really well. It still looks really beautiful. And right off the bat, I believe at this time that the 8 Series is BMW's, at least for its modern lineup, most beautiful car. So talking about ownership experience, let's first start with the negatives. So negative number one is trunk space. Now, I've got to be honest, I really love this car, and I'm sort of reaching to find anything negative about it because the trunk space is actually not bad. But because it has that sort of coupe styling to it, the main issue isn't really the amount of space, but sort of this access right here. So the sort of the mouth of the trunk is relatively narrow compared to most trunks. And for that reason, I'm wary to take this car out to the airport to pick people up in case they have large bags, large luggage, just because I'm a little worried that they won't be able to get it in. And even if they are able to get it in, I do worry that it's going to sort of muff up this rubber here and cause scratches here. Negative number two, and this is kind of a straightforward one, the rear headroom. So the rear of this car actually has plenty of space. So the amount of legroom is not a problem whatsoever. But what is commonly complained about with this car is the headroom. So I only have probably about 2 inches of headroom here, and I'm not a tall person. But if you're a tall guy, this will be a problem. Negative number three. So this is the wireless charging port back here, and it has never worked. Wireless charging never worked for my BMW M340i, and it doesn't work for this car either. I don't know why. It's supposed to have wireless charging, but I have never gotten it to work before. The final negative is the interior color of this car. Now, I didn't spec this car out, and don't get me wrong, this color is gorgeous. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. But the problem is maintaining it. It's this cream color, and it gets dirty so easily. So really difficult to maintain, and although I love how it looks when it's clean, you know, if I could have spec'd this car out, I would not have gone with this. So honestly, as far as the negative attributes of owning this car, that's pretty much all I can think of. So now let's talk about the positives. Before we even get into the drivetrain and drivability, one positive for sure is the tech, the interior layout, and the infotainment. So this is a 22 model, and I believe there's been an LCI, so everything's maybe changed since then. I'm not too sure, but it's a very easy to use infotainment system. You know, it's got this dial that you can use to pretty much move everything around. It has wireless Apple CarPlay, which works perfectly. I've never had an issue with it. You know, it's just a very easy to use infotainment system. I mean, you have buttons in all the right places. The graphics of the reverse camera are very good. It has excellent surround view, which makes parking in tight spaces very easy. It has plenty of sensors everywhere, so You're not likely to, bump into curbs when you're trying to park. I like the tachometer. Now, I mean, maybe I'm just used to BMW tachometers. I mean, I'm sure this is, a matter of opinion. Some people would maybe don't like this layout, but I think it works well for me. And again, maybe I've just gotten used to it. I really enjoy the heated and cooled seats, although the cooled seats don't work as well as the heated seats. That's probably just a, just a feature that you have to accept. Pretty good amount of storage space here, with a little bit of a bin here to put things. You got, 2 cup holders, and you have a little bit of space here, which I pretty much never use to store stuff. So all in all, it's a nice interior. Doesn't, this car has about 21,000 miles on it. It doesn't rattle. I've not gotten any creaks, nothing like that. So, so far, very high quality. The only time I do get a bit of a buzz or rattle is on cold start with the valve of my FI exhaust open. But again, that's not OEM, so I can't blame the car for that. Check it out, there's even Alcantara on the roof here and along the A-pillar. Is it as luxurious as an S-Class Mercedes? No, it's not quite at that level, but you know what? It's luxurious enough. It's a Grand Tourer, and it's meant to be a sporty car, and it very much has that DNA in it. All right, but my favorite thing about this car is what's under this hood. 4.4 liter twin turbo V8 makes 523 horsepower. Now my car has an aftermarket exhaust, but even with the stock setup, it sounds amazing. Check it out. Okay, so just driving it around. So this car has served me really well as a daily driver. It, so far, reliability-wise, I have had 0 issues. Literally 0 issues. I've gone in for 1 service, that was its 2nd service, and BMW gets 3 services complimentary with the car. So I got 2nd of 3 complimentary services done. And again, I've had no issues with the car. It runs great, really, from an ownership standpoint, just no complaints at all. It's also very comfortable. So just driving around, commuting to my job, going on little road trips, no issues at all. It has adaptive cruise control. It also has a self-driving feature, which I did use at least partly on a very long road trip. I think it works pretty decently well. I'm still not totally comfortable with it. I think on 1 or 2 occasions it sort of veered off the lane on a turn, and it really made me uncomfortable. So I use it, but I use it very warily, let's just say. As far as power and handling, it's all that you need. Really, it's all the power anybody ever needs in a car. More than enough, really. This car has the power and speed of supercars from just a couple of years ago. It, lots of torque, no problem with passing power. So, it's a really smooth drivetrain, which is what I love so much about it. I mean, that's what you're going to get with a V8. And also, this car is fitted with rear axle steer, which interestingly the M8 does not have, and I don't know why. And with that, given that it's such a big car with such a large wheelbase, it handles really well. I mean, it's really nimble on corners. So pop this car into Sport Plus mode, and corners like this are nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. The only thing that sucks about this particular winding road is how bad it is. I mean, the pavement's just in god-awful shape. But I mean, it's all-wheel drive, no trouble at all. And you don't really lose grip. So if you do like kind of getting some wheel spin, or having the back spin out a little bit, that's not easy to do with this car, unless you're really pushing it to the limits, which is something that I don't really do. You can also hear some backfires. I don't know if you can hear that. that's a special thing you get in Sport Plus mode. So, you know, around almost 21,000 miles and no issues with this car. And, you know, I do have fun with it. I don't drive it super hard, but I do plenty of pulls and, you know, a little bit of back road shenanigans with it. But again, I don't go too crazy because it is my daily driver. You know, I do run a lot of errands with it. I take it to work. Sometimes I take my family out for, you know, for trips in it. So again, I don't push it too crazy hard. But again, I think BMW with this latest generation of the N63 engine really kind of sorted a lot of the issues that they had before. I'm not running into any problems. The transmission's very good, and you know, it's a very comfortable car. It's, you know, it's a joy to drive, and I would say, at least for daily drivers, hands down, it's the best car I've ever owned. I'd like to thank everybody for watching, and I'll see you next video.